Hi there, this is Rebecca over 60 and babyboomster.com. That's my blog. And if this is the first time you've been on my channel, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. And if you're coming back, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I know you guys like to talk about beauty and fashion and things like that, but today I wanted to talk about the fear of falling because it's a thing when you get over a certain age. I'm 70 years old. I'm pretty lucky. I've never broken anything, but a couple of weeks ago, I took a header on the sidewalk while I was walking. And I'm always very careful when I walk, but I was looking at a yard sign that I didn't like and didn't notice that there was this dried up seed pod on the ground, and I fell forward. And luckily, I just got a scratch on my elbow. It wasn't terrible, I thought. And then I went about a week and I was still walking and everything like that. And then all of a sudden, I just started feeling this pinch in my hip that wouldn't go away. And it was just really excruciating. And that lasted for about 2 days. And then it moved up to my shoulder and my neck. I don't know how it did it. I wasn't doing anything weird, but it just happened. And then I'd been cat sitting for about 6 weeks at somebody's house. And it was a kind of a small house that had a lot of furniture in it. And I'm sitting there watching TV, and I had my feet on this antique footstool, this little thing that had kind of little loops on the end of it. And when I got up, my pant leg caught onto one of the loops and I fell forward again. And I just did a face plant. Luckily, it was on kind of a padded carpet. And I thought, oh no, I'm like really in trouble now, right? It was kind of funny because I was really having a problem lifting my arm up because of my neck tension. And that actually released it a little bit. But now I've got this awful fear of falling. So every time I go out for a walk, I'm like eagle-eyed, looking on the ground, making sure there aren't any weird objects that I could trip over. So I just thought about, it's easy to fall in a house as well as outside. I mean, outside we don't have as much control over because you just kind of never know when a step's gonna go down and you just didn't expect it or whatever. But in your house, you definitely have control. Well, at least I hope so. So I thought I'd talk about a few things that you could do just to prevent falling, because if you're over a certain age like me, I mean, even over 50, a fall can be super devastating and it's not something that you want to do. And not all of us are good at falling. I kind of chalked up my luck, I guess you'd call it, to when I took an acting class in the 80s, and it was very physical, and we were doing somersaults and I was standing on my head 10 different ways, and I think it kind of helped me to fall, but sometimes you don't know what it's going to do. So let's talk about that. And okay, so this one situation in this house that I was staying in, it's a small house and they had a ton of furniture in it, just everything that was inherited from all of their parents. And it was just wall-to-wall furniture, big, heavy stuff that could have been minimalized easily. I mean, there's really no reason that you have to have all this big old antique stuff and then, you're storing all the stuff that you never use because your kids have left the house and you don't really have like big dinner parties. There's just like maybe 2 of you or 1 of you. I mean, why are you keeping stuff like that? Just get rid of it, sell it, make some money off of it. We were doing an estate sale, and you wouldn't believe how much you make on some of that silverware. I mean, how often do you use it? And then you have to clean it and, the whole thing. You can make a ton of money on just that old-fashioned silverware alone. So I am a big proponent of minimalism in a lot of things. Like, I've done videos about minimal makeup, minimal fashion, and now I'm telling you to go minimal on furniture, because the more there is that you can bump into or trip over, the more hazardous it is for your health. start getting rid of stuff. Have somebody clean out your house and sell it or give it away or whatever. Another thing that you want to be really careful about is good lighting. If you don't have good lighting, and like in their case, they only had one bathroom, right? So when they get up from their bed in their bedroom, they have to walk all the way to a bathroom. They don't have like a master bathroom. If you're in the middle of the night, you might not be feeling all together, and that could easily be a way to trip. So you want to make sure that you have some types of night lights or any type of lighting that leads you to where you're going, especially when it's dark. That's a major reason that people trip. And if you have all that furniture laying around, you're definitely going to trip. Secure rugs is another thing too. A lot of times older people, especially, I don't know why, but they're kind of obsessed with having little throw rugs all over the place. And those are super easy to trip over. If you're going to have a throw rug, make sure it's got a secure padding underneath that sticks to the floor, or you might even want to tape it to the floor some way. I don't know that I'd want to ruin my floors doing that, but actually the fewer carpets that you have, like throw carpets, the better for you. And I noticed too at this house I was at, they had some doormats that were kind of hanging over the steps, so that you could easily just take a tumble doing that. And that's not a good thing either. Okay, another thing that can come in really handy are grab bars. And I know a lot of times we think, you know what, I'm a senior, but I'm in really good shape and I don't need all that, adult stuff, that aging in place stuff, but you're only going to get older, right? So why not have it in place while you still can? So having a grab bar, especially like in the bathroom, is a really good idea if you're getting up and down, because sometimes you just might get a kink in your hip or whatever, and it's just hard to get up and down from the toilet. And I remember that episode in Grace and Frankie where the girls invented one of those toilets that goes up and down. Like, that would be really great sometimes, but it's not always possible. So a nice grab bar is good. It's good in the shower too, because sometimes, you just might suddenly get dizzy. Things like that happen when you get older, and it could be for like really no reason at all, but you never know when that's going to happen. So you need something to grab onto. So why not just install them in your home? You can make them very attractive if you want to, but make sure that they're there, because that way you can stay in your place longer. The other thing too are non-slip surfaces. So if you're walking into a shower or a bathtub and it's slippery, that's another way you're going to slip. So you want to get either, you can get sometimes the bathtubs, they're like a bath shower combination. You've got something kind of etched on the bottom of the bathtub or the surface that makes it so that you don't slip. Those are really nice. Then you don't have to worry about a mat. Or you want to get a mat that has some suction on it that's going to stay put, just so that you don't fall. It's not worth it. Falling is not worth it. Another thing to be super careful of, and it's pretty obvious, are ladders and step ladders. I mean, sometimes you just have to change a light bulb or put in a battery in that smoke detector or whatever it is. The best thing is to never get up on a ladder unless somebody else is next to you holding on to it. Sometimes if you're living alone, that's not always possible. But you can get step stools, for instance, that have a bar on them to hold on to when you're going up the steps, so you're not just like this, which can be really bad. Try to avoid going up onto ladders whenever you can. Sometimes it's just not possible. I know we have a lot of kitchen stuff that's kind of up above, and sometimes we have to get to it. It's just something that happens, but it's really, really better if you have somebody around, because if you do fall, you're not going to be able to get up. If you knock the wind out of yourself or something like that. Another thing too is to clean up spills right away. We have this refrigerator that's got an ice maker on the door of it. And sometimes when you're taking the ice out, an ice cube will go onto the floor. And if you don't pick it up right away, you're either going to slip on it or it's going to get wet and then you'll slip on it later. You know, you have to make sure that you clean up any kinds of spills that happen immediately, because that's another good way to slide across the floor, and that's not fun. I remember my mom did that when I was young, and you know, she was mopping the floor and just kind of like slid like a slip and slide across the floor. Luckily, she was younger at that time, so it wasn't a huge deal. Another way that you can definitely fall is by tripping over your pets. Now, I used to have 2 little Chihuahua mixes, and I was absolutely in love with them. And of course, I would never want to get rid of my pets, ever. I mean, I just think it's terrible when people do that. But they are also obstacles. So, especially little dogs, because you can't see them and they're just kind of lying all over the place. So, you have to be careful. I had tripped a couple of times when I was taking both of them out on a walk, because they would kind of like crisscross all the time. And if I wasn't paying attention, I'd get caught up in their leashes. So, watch out for those little pets. And also big dogs too. My daughter has a 100-pound Swiss Mountain Dog, and she gets really excited when I come to the door. So she likes to kind of jump up on me and stuff, and we're trying to get her to stop doing that. But if a big dog jumps up on you, one thing that you can do is try to push forward instead of back, because when you do that, then the pet gets off of balance and not you. And they're usually a little bit better at falling than people are. So just keep that in mind next time a dog greets you at the door and they're kind of strong. It's really important too to wear sturdy shoes. I have given up high heels completely. I never wear anything even like 2 inches anymore. I just can't. You know, I try to wear shoes that have treads on them so they stick to the floor. You know, you just want to make sure that they don't slip off. And one of the worst things that can really trip you up are shoes like thongs. And I like to wear thongs around the house. I really do. They're just super comfortable. But you really have to be careful, because they can catch on something and then there you go. And it's not a good thing. So if you can wear sandals with straps, that's a lot better. It's a lot safer, and you know, you'll avoid a lot of falls doing that. Another thing too is to practice balance. Balance exercises are probably the most important thing that you can do at this age. And we found some balance exercises online that we do in the morning, and that really helps, because being off balance can just cause you to have catastrophic results, and you just don't want that. So make sure that that's part of your exercise regimen. And then, of course, you always want to keep your bones strong, because one fall, and if you have osteoporosis or really, really weak, fragile bones, it's going to break really easily. So sometimes people want to lose so much weight, and I've just found that it seems like women that are too skinny have more osteoporosis than people that have a little bit of weight on them. So don't get too skinny. Make sure you're eating all of those fortified foods that have the vitamin D and the calcium, and if you need to, take the supplements. Just keep your bones nice and strong. Make sure you get those bone density tests, and just make sure that you're good in that area, because that's really when people get hurt. And when you do get hurt, sometimes, you know, you end up in, you know, a nursing home for a while, and sometimes people just never come back to what they originally were. So falling is very, very dangerous for anybody that's older, and so having the fear of falling is a good thing. So anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. And if you also have some suggestions on how to prevent falling, let me know. Right now I'm nursing this shoulder right now, and it is not fun. And you know, the older you are, the longer it takes to heal. So I'm hoping this goes away because my daughter just had a baby and it's my first grandchild, and she has me tapped to be the nanny when she goes back to work. So I want to make sure that when the baby is bigger, I'm going to be able to handle him and, you know, just enjoy it without it being kind of a stressful thing. So anyway, thank you for coming onto my channel. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button. I would love it if you would subscribe and leave comments for sure. That really helps me. Let me know what you'd love to know about, and I'll see you in the next video.